This is Filmed On Live from UGAsports.com. That's Brent Rollins. I'm Dayne Young. We are presented by our great friends at Jittery Joe's. It's Athens' favorite coffee. It's an institution in Northeast Georgia, and it's something that you need to have in your collection if you're a Georgia fan. Why is that? I've told you for weeks about the national championship limited edition coffee can that you can get, but also I'm sure that in the last few years you've seen their Attack the Day coffee, which is a really good way to start your day as well. You see that newer secondary logo that represents Georgia. They've had that for a little while now, but if you get these two together in store or online, jitteryjoes.com, that'll be great for your Georgia collection. And frankly, it's just awesome coffee. I had some Jittery Joe's coffee this morning that I brew at home. I get the whole beans, grind them in my house, and then make the coffee there. It was fantastic. I think you'll enjoy doing the same. That national championship coffee, it's about halfway between a light and a medium roast. If you want coffee that's a bit darker, they have different blends that you can check out there too. Just check out their whole line and tell them thanks for their support of UGAsports.com and the Georgia Bulldogs. That's jitteryjoes.com or any of their in-store locations in Northeast Georgia. Well, this is our play of the game for Georgia and Georgia Tech. But, Brent, I think this is a bit of kind of like a lifetime achievement award that you get at the Grammys, in part because it wasn't that spectacular of a game, but also in part because Kenny McIntosh, while he did have the play of the game, which is pretty obvious, I think he's been the player of the latter part of the season for Georgia. The combination of his emergence and then also Jalen Carter, obviously. It just seems like those two, when they're on the field, Georgia's so much better.
Senior leadership. I mean, in this game, I thought, for a second it was going to be Aaron Smith's catch. Well, then it wasn't a catch. Then another punt, and then Brock Bowers' shoestring catch. But then this play happened. And what's amazing about this play is it's something they've gone to, like I think back to Kentucky in 2020, Monken's first year here at Georgia. James Cook hit James Cook on this play. This in the national championship game, same sort of thing. Happened against Florida, except they dump it down to Darnell. Like when they want this, and Cook's gotten it a couple times in past times, but Kenny Mack as well. So when they want to fire up a big play, this is what the leak play. This is what they dial up.
This is it. First of all, with the formation itself, have a motion man here at the beginning, and that's Bowers. Is there anything that really caught your eye, just formation-wise?
No, not necessarily. The biggest thing is that you could tell that Georgia Tech very much said, okay, we're gonna try to cover you and play deep, much like Kentucky did. We're gonna play too deep. We're gonna stay back. We're not gonna let you get exposed. We're gonna make you go 8, 7, 5, that sort of thing. Make you really work the ball down the field. And here again is where they were started at 1st and 10. But the other thing with this is that when you see this, and I think when Georgia's offense is really humming, is when you get play action shot plays on early downs. And wasn't really in stride, but he definitely hit Kenny Mack over the defender, and you get just a big play.
You do get the big play here. I thought this throw was just phenomenal.
I mean, it's not one where you say, oh, he dropped it in the bucket all the way down the field, but finally putting it sort of on it where the guy could easily make a play. And obviously there was a defender there. And what was funny, like I even tweeted, like, it was his best throw since when? And then somebody reminded me about the great throw to Arian Smith earlier in the game.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, good point there. Good, very, touche on that one. I guess the flags in the game kind of clogged the brain a little bit. It was a very meh kind of game. But still, leak. You also have, look at Darnell, the attention, if both guys run with Kenny McIntosh, you have an outlet. This is
you also have the outlet with Bowers down here that you like the matchup if you have this whole set of space on this side of the field.
Yep. It's a go-to. I mean, there's so many references to this play in the past 3 years with Todd Monken as coordinator.
Couple things I wanted to point out just for the humor purposes here. One, Stetson Bennett makes this throw, and then I'm pretty sure he turns around on the scoreboard to watch it play out. He's either looking at the student section here, or he turned around to watch his handiwork on the big screen.
Yes.
which means he's going to be a phenomenal father one day, because that's totally like a dad move. I just did this. Now let me see where I can show off of, like, if something's showing me having done it. He's swaggering, walking backwards.
Yes, that's hilarious. I didn't even notice that.
The other thing is, I can't tell, but I need a sideline check of who this person in the white pullover is, because zoom. I have no idea. You can't tell from this angle, but I really want to know.
That's another great question,
because that's a coach's pullover, right?
Yeah, I mean, somebody associated in that way. Yes, very much so.
So we'll see if we can do the hard journalism and get an answer to who that person is. It's not Kirby Smart. I already identified him down here on the 20. He barely moved. It's not Will Muschamp, obviously, and that's the two that I saw in that hoodie.
There's not much that phases Kirby anymore on the sidelines, seemingly, except for, when his defense isn't really lined up or he's trying to talk to the defense. That's really when you only see him massively animated on the sideline anymore. But just going back to Kenny Mack, like you said, that sort of lifetime achievement award, senior leadership, the alpha for the offense for the most part over the last month or so. The last two games, 344 yards on 35 touches, almost 10 yards a touch. Couple touchdowns. He's up to right around 1,100 all-purpose yards on the season, 9 touchdowns. Just a phenomenal senior season, a la James Cook. I think the numbers are almost exact in terms of yardage and touchdowns from Cook a season ago.
I want to give a quick shout out on a blocking deal here. I believe this is Truss, correct? That's pulling from his guard spot to the right side. We've given Truss a bit of grief with some poor footwork throughout the season, stepping the wrong way, stepping on linemen's feet. He's a big guy. Sometimes it's out of his control. Sometimes it's poor technique. This is really well done, because he gets up out of his stance and moves quickly to the backside, does not get in Stetson's way, and he does a good job here blocking the backside to give this as much time to develop as possible. Finds this guy, sticks with it.
Sets his base up. Good work. Gets thrown around a little bit, but balls are well gone. And it's going to be important next week. I mean, we're going to talk later on, LSU pass rush, especially interior pass rush. I mean, you're going to have to know where Perkins and Ojulari are in every play. I think that's their thing. And that's the sort of game wrecker for them. So can you make sure that you don't allow those game wrecker players for them hurt you when you try to get big plays down the field?
Georgia is in a very luxurious position when you can have these big plays, but then your two check downs here are Bowers over here and Darnell over here. You're going to like your matchup, even if that's one-on-one, somebody like right near them, because at least you're making someone make an open field tackle. In this case, I think Bowers would have been the more obvious check down. But when you see how the defensive eyes are staying this way, you knew the space was going to be here as long as Roseman cleared out his guy. Overall, great play. Georgia didn't take a ton of shots against Georgia Tech, and I thought Georgia Tech played Georgia pretty darn well for the most part.
Great game plan from them.
To look at that, and LSU is going to learn some things about how to play Georgia. It seems to me that if you can try to slow down Georgia's interior rushing game and make them one-dimensional, it's kind of the classic thing. Make Stetson Bennett beat you. He's done it before.
Yep.
I think that's the team's best shot, is to make Stetson Bennett beat you.
Well, and also I think what you're going to see next week is you're going to see a lot more aggression. You're going to see early down play action. You're going to see early down passing more so probably than you – unless, by the way, unless they're absolutely ramming it down LSU's throat. They do that, different story. But I think you're going to see the chunk plays and a lot of early down play action passing next week, especially early in the game.
We forget, I think, that Kenny McIntosh was Georgia's leading receiver for the first part of the season. And then he kind of, in the last 2 to 3 weeks, became Georgia's dominant rusher. Not saying he wasn't already running back number one, but after, Florida and after Kentucky, he just kind of took it to a new level than we've ever seen from him as a running back. I'll end this play of the game with this. What does this mean for his potential? I know you love this game, so that's why I'm taking it to you. Potential NFL draft stock future for a guy like Kenny McIntosh.
What's his 40? I think, I don't like he didn't house that. Like if his 40's in the 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 7, maybe low 4 5s, and I think it will be there. I think it'll be right around 4 or 5. He's going to be a 4th round back, and he's going to be a great one. He's going to be somebody that goes and plays and has a role in the league.
Just not a position of need. I mean, you have to just be a world athlete, all world athlete to get first or second round at that.
Well, I think like Cook last year, Cook went and ran 4.4. Yeah. So now he gets picked in the second round.
But I mean, he's not heavily featured in their offense this season or anything.
No,
he's there.
No. But correct.
Some of that's because it's that team that they already have all these other guys. But some of it's just that position that's hard to break into in the league and be a feature there. I asked that because I'm curious about Kenny McIntosh and his decisions going forward. I suspect he will move on and make his money and do his thing. But
yes, he went through the senior stuff. Like he did he was one of the guys.
I'm also wondering if like a Bijan Robinson at Texas, if there's potential that he could make more money by coming back to Texas than he could being whatever pick he would be in the NFL as a rookie contract.
Interesting.
Depends on the NIL. That's a discussion for the offseason. We're still in the season, and Georgia has potentially 3 games remaining. At least, I would say 2 at this point. I think Georgia's in the playoff, even if it were to lose to LSU. So we'll be there for it. This has been Filmed Live from UGAsports.com. Please support Jittery Joe's because they support us, and we will see you next time.